Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you all for tuning in. Tonight, we're going to go through all 20 Kiss studio albums. We're going to pick another song that could have been a good choice for album opener. So, I'm only going to do the studio albums, none of the live albums, compilations, or anything like that. And I'm just going to go through each one and pick what I think could have been a good album opener if, for whatever reason, the song they chose to open the album couldn't be placed in that opening slot. I do think that in most cases, Kiss picked the right album openers. I would say the vast majority of these albums open up with the song that they should open up. There are a few albums where I think the best opener was kind of left on the table, but I think those albums are probably few and far between. So let's get into this. Starting off with the first Kiss album, the debut, 1974, opens up with the song Strutter. I think the best choice for opener, what I would have loved to have heard open this thing up, is Deuce. Deuce works great as the opener for Alive. I think it's the track on the album that has the most energy and kicks the most ass, and I think it would just be a perfect way for Kiss to introduce themselves to the world. So, not that Strutter's a bad song. Strutter's a good opener. I think Strutter's probably the second best choice for opener on here. But I think Deuce would have been amazing as an opener. And I kind of would have liked to have seen this album sort of follow what Alive did in the future. That would be to put Strutter as the second track. So, I'm not going to resequence the whole thing right now. But that's what I would like to see. Have Deuce open it up. Have Strutter follow it. Second album, also released in 1974, Hotter Than Hell. My favorite Kiss album. I love the way that Got to Choose opens this thing up. I think Got to Choose is the correct opener. It opens this album in just a really kind of sludgy, heavy kind of a way. It sets a great tone for what's to come on this album. So I would kind of want to find something that kind of gives this album the same sort of opening. Something that's dark and sludgy, heavy, kind of slow, but menacingly slow, not like played slow like on the first album. Something that's just, I don't know, something that kind of feels like Got to Choose. And as I look at the track list, excuse me, I think Strange Ways is the song. So for a minute here, let's suspend our disbelief. I think we all know that Gene and Paul would have never let Ace and or Peter open up a Kiss album, but for this exercise, we're just picking good openers, regardless of who sang them, regardless of who wrote them, and regardless of whether Paul and Gene would have ever let it happen. So I think Strange Ways would have been a cool way to open it up because it kind of starts off sort of doomy and heavy and sludgy, and it really sets a good pace for what's to come on this album. I still like Parasite. I think Parasite would have been a cool opener. I like Parasite to follow up Strange Ways. And I'm not sure where you plop Got to Choose down at now, because I don't know that Got to Choose is a good closer. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I'd put Got to Choose in that instance, but I think Strange Ways would have been a cool opener had Got to Choose not been allowed to open the album. Let's go to the third studio album, 1975's Dressed to Kill. Much in the same way as Hotter Than Hell, I think Room Service is the perfect opener for this. It sets the pace for the album. This is a much more upbeat, more shiny album. Party rock album. A little more pizzazz to it. And Room Service gets it right off to the best start possible. But if Room Service wasn't going to be the opener, where do you go? And I think there's two songs on here that kind of intrigue me for being an opener. One of them I think is a great way to open the album, much in the way that Room Service is. It would get the album off to a really party rockin' start. And that's the big anthem on the album, Rock and Roll All Night. The other one that's kind of intriguing me is Rock Bottom. Start the album off slow, and then just let it kick in after 1 minute and 55 seconds. I think that would have been pretty cool, actually. But I think my pick's going to be Rock and Roll All Night. I want to kind of keep that really kind of faster paced party rock opener the way that Room Service is. think Rock and Roll All Night would do it the same way. I still think Room Service has to be somewhere close to the front of the album, though I don't know exactly where. And if we're going to close or open with Rock and Roll All Night, I would close with She. So that's what I would do here. If Room Service couldn't be the opener, I think I would choose Rock and Roll All Night. All right, another album with the perfect opener, Detroit Rock City. But there's one other song on this album that I think would be a really good album opener, and it's Shout It Out Loud. Much in the same vein as Rock and Roll All Night, it's Anthem. I think it would get things off to a pretty good start on Destroyer as well. So Detroit Rock City is the perfect opener, but if I was to choose something else, I think Shout It Out Loud would be my pick to open up Destroyer. Then probably keep Detroit Rock City at number 2. So Shout It Out Loud would be my opener for Destroyer. Rock and Roll Over, released in 1976. All right, so we got I Want You as the opener, which kicks things off on a soft note and then crashes into something really heavy. Paul comes right out of the gate singing, "In the morning, I raise my head," and I'm thinking, "In the morning, I raise my head." I don't know why I can't ever recite lyrics like on the spot like this, but you get the point. You've heard the song, I'm sure. So, what would we open with if we didn't open up with I Want You? The two songs that are jumping out at me is Mr. Speed and Making Love. I love both those riffs, and I think both of them would be really cool album openers. You know what? Mr. Speed. I'd open it up with Mr. Speed, because I really love Making Love as an album closer. So we're going to open things up with Mr. Speed. Next up, Love Gun. This has, again, the perfect opener. I Stole Your Love. That riff is the best way to start this thing off. But if we're not going to start things off with I Stole Your Love, then let's start it off with either... Love Gun would be a good one. But again, we're going to suspend our disbelief here for a minute. I would think I would pick Shock Me. That's another great riff to kick things off with. I don't know, Love Gun doesn't really feel like an opener to me, I guess. I don't really know why, but I think Shock Me would be the way I would open this one up if it weren't for I Stole Your Love. Next up, Dynasty, 1979, 7th studio album, and for the first time since the debut, I don't think this album opens up with the perfect starter. And I like I Was Made for Loving You. I just never cared for it as an album opener. So what would be the best way to start this one? Again, gotta suspend our disbelief here. I think the two best album openers on here are both sung by Ace Frehley. 2000 Man or Hard Time. And I'm thinking 2000 Man would be the best opener. Even though it's a cover, and even though Ace sings it, I think that would get this album off to a nice rockin' start. So, 2000 Man would be my choice for opening up Dynasty. Let's go to Unmasked, released in 1980, 8th studio album. I think it opens up with the best possible track, Is That You? But if we're going to choose something else to be the album opener, I'll tell you, this is a tough one. I don't really think any of these songs are jumping out at me as possible album opening material. No, not really. Shandy was the big song, so you could kind of kick things off with a ballad, I guess, but I don't know that I'm a fan of that idea. Naked City, maybe. Tomorrow's too poppy. I don't think any of the Ace songs were really album openers here. I guess I'll go Naked City. I guess. It's good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Naked City, but just none of these really scream album opener to me. So, Naked City, I guess, will be my pick. Next up, we have the ninth studio album, 1981's Music from the Elder. So, the original release of this opened up with The Oath. They re-released this album with the correct order of the tracks, opening with Fanfare and Just a Boy. So, I'm going to eliminate both of those songs from opening this album. Thematically, Fanfare and Just a Boy obviously are the perfect openers because it's the start of the story. Musically, The Oath is a great opener because it rocks like all hell. And it's a cool riff. Paul sings his heart off in that one. But if we had to pick something else, tell you what, Ace knows how to open up albums. He really does. Because I'm thinking Darklight. I think that kind of slow build up in that the intro of that song would have been pretty cool. Just to drop the needle and all of a sudden, bump bump, bump bump, bump 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 bump, and then just let it build into the really kick-ass rockin' track that it is. So I guess I'm gonna go Darklight is the potential album opener. Excuse me, potential album opener for the Elder. Oh, here's another one that I think has the perfect opener, Creatures of the Night. Kicks things off with the title track and it's perfect. I love the drum intro in that. I mean, it comes right out of the gate on fire. I think if there's another song you're going to open this album up with, it would be I Love It Loud. It's not quite as speedy as Creatures of the Night is, as far as, not that Creatures of the Night is like a speed song or anything, but it's Creatures of the Night gets off to a really kind of a fast-paced start. I Love It Loud is a little slower paced, but it's quite heavy and quite ballsy. I'm thinking I Love It Loud would be how I would kick this off if I couldn't do it with Creatures. Let's move into the non-makeup era. This time we have 1983's Lick It Up. And again, I think Exciter is the best way to open this thing. But if we're not going to open it with Exciter, what do you want to open it with? Not for the Innocent would be kind of cool. Young and Wasted would be cool. I love All Hell's Breaking Loose. It's my favorite song on the album. I don't know about opening the album with it. Give Me More would kind of be cool too. I'm just trying to imagine, like, dropping the needle on it or putting the CD in the CD player, and what do I want to greet my ears? I think Give Me More would actually be kind of cool the more I think about it. So I think I'm gonna go Give Me More. Just that sort of speedy. It's probably up to this point the fastest song in Kiss's catalog. That would be a cool way to kick this thing off. I think Give Me More is kind of underrated. I love that song. Next up, we have 1984's Animalize. Another album with the perfect opener, which is I've had enough Into the Fire. But if we're not gonna open this up with Into the Fire, what do you go with? You could kind of take the same approach with Lick It Up and open it up with the speedy track Under the Gun. That would be kind of cool. Can you imagine opening it up with Burn Bitch Burn? right out of the gate, we're putting our log in the fireplace. Yeah, Under the Gun. We're going to open up with Under the Gun. Second album in a row, we're going to open up with Real Speedster. Next up, I've got Asylum, 1985, 13th studio album. Again, King of the Mountain. Perfect way to kick this one off. How else could you open this one up? You got the speedy track with I'm Alive. You got another pretty speedy track with Love's a Deadly Weapon. My favorite song is Any Way You Slice It. So you could do that. I think that would be kind of cool. I was going to joke and say All Night, but like I'm thinking about it, and I actually don't think that would be a terrible opener, all things considered. Wouldn't be the best opener because King of the Mountain is. But I think All Night would be a better opener than like Tears Are Falling or Trial by Fire. I'm I'm going to pick my favorite song on the album, any way you slice it, to be my pick. Next up, we have everybody's favorite Kiss album, Crazy Nights, released in 1987. 14th studio album. Crazy Crazy Nights is the best way to open this thing up, in my opinion. How else could you open this up, though? I don't really like the song that much, but I think to pop the CD in and have No 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 open it up with Bruce's guitar solo at the beginning of that song, and then it's a pretty rockin' tune. I think it had potential if it wasn't on such a glossy album. But I don't really care for any of the Gene songs on here, but I'm looking at the track list, and even though I love the Paul tracks, My Way's not a good opener, so don't worry, I'm not going to pick My Way. Reason to Live's not a good opener. I don't think Turn on the Night's a good opener. I'll Fight Hell to Hold You, I don't think really feels like an opener to me either. No, we could open it with Bang Bang You. Wow! I don't know. I don't think so. I'm thinking No No No. I think that'd be what I chose to open this thing up if it weren't for Crazy Crazy Nights. All right, let's go to Hot in the Shade, 15th studio album, released in 1989. A lot of choices on this one. 15 songs, the longest, at least track-wise, album in the Kiss catalog. Opens up with Rise to It, which, I don't know, I guess Rise to It is probably the best choice to open this thing up. But what else do we got here? You know, I never really thought about this before, but I think Rise to It definitely is the best opener in here. I'm just reading through the track list here. Nothing else is really jumping off the CD case at me. Betrayed. Pretty rockin' tune, so I guess we'd open up with Betrayed if not for Rise to It. Next up, let's go with the 16th studio album, 1992's Revenge. This one definitely opens up with a perfect song. Unholy, kick-ass opener, and by far my favorite track on the album. What else could you open it up with if it weren't for Unholy? You want to open it up with I Just Wanna? I like I Just Wanna. I don't think I want to open the album up with that. I love Paralyzed. That's my second favorite song on the album. Thou Shalt Not might be pretty cool. Spit. I'm even thinking Car Jam, but I don't think so. I think Thou Shalt Not, I guess, would be the best way to open this up, aside from Unholy. So we'll do that. We'll open it up with Thou Shalt Not. Next up, we have 1997's Carnival of the Souls. Opens up again with the best choice for opener, in my opinion. That is Hate. If I'm not going to open up with Hate, I think I'm going to open this up with Master and Slave. I love Master and Slave. It's my favorite song on the album. Open up with a really killer heavy riff. Yeah, Master and Slave. All right, we got 3 more to go. 18th studio album, released in 1998, Psycho Circus, the reunion album. Or should I say, the reunion album? How would you open this up without Psycho Circus? Because Psycho Circus is definitely the best opener in here. I do kind of like Within. That's one of my favorite songs on here. It's got kind of a cool intro, I guess. But when it crashes in, that guitar is really super heavy when it crashes in. So that would be cool. I'm not really a big fan of the song, but You Wanted the Best would probably be a logical opener. Yeah. I think You Wanted the Best would be my choice. I'm not crazy about the song, but it just screams opening track to me. So, without Psycho Circus, I think You Wanted the Best would be my opener for Psycho Circus. Next up, we have Sonic Boom, released in 2009, the 19th studio album. Again, I think it opens up with the right song, Modern Day Delilah. If I'm going to open it up with something else, though, I'm going to open it up with... What else can we open it up with here? Say Yeah. I like Say Yeah as a closer, though, but I don't think any of these other songs really feel like opening tracks to me. Say Yeah is at least kind of like, kind of anthemic. I don't know, I could hear those guitars kind of opening up an album, too. I prefer it as a closer, but I do think, other than Modern Day Delilah, it would be the one I would choose to open the album with. So, Say Yeah. Last one. Monster, released in 2012. I love Monster. And it opens up with the right song, Hell or Hallelujah. But if we're going to open it up with something else... I don't really think there's a lot of other great openers on here. As much as I love this album, Hell or Hallelujah is definitely the best opener. Back to the Stone Age would be a cool way to open it up. Bass is pretty cool. Yeah. Back to the Stone Age, I guess, would be my choice to open this one up. So, there you have it. If we had to choose another song to open up each Kiss studio album, those are my choices. I guess I'll try to run through them quick if I can remember the ones I picked. But off of the first Kiss album, we've got Deuce. Off Hotter Than Hell, we've got Strange Ways. Off of Dressed to Kill, we've got Rock and Roll All Night. Off of Destroyer, Shout It Out Loud. Rock and Roll Over, we're going with Mr. Speed. Love Gun, going with Shock Me. Dynasty, going with 2000 Man. Unmasked, going with Naked City. Music from the Elder, I went with Dark Light. Creatures of the Night, went with I Love It Loud. Lick It Up, going with Gimme More. Animalize, going with Under the Gun. Open up with a couple speedy tracks there. Anyway, Slice It is going to open up Asylum for me. No 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 is opening up Crazy Nights. Betrayed is going to open up Hot in the Shade. What I pick on Revenge? Thou Shalt Not for Revenge. Master and Slave for Carnival of Souls. You Wanted the Best for Psycho Circus. Say Yeah for Sonic Boom. And last but not least, Back to the Stone Age for Monster. So, in the comments below, drop the songs that you would choose to open up the studio album if you had to choose something other than the actual opener. If you like this kind of content, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more rock content in the future, and I will catch you in the next video.